Hey, it's party time, which means it's just another day in Studio 22. We're in the mothership, the Chad Prather Show. Thank you for tuning in and listening where podcasts are offered as well. I want to encourage you guys to go to the place where podcasts are offered and leave us a 5-star rating. It's what we deserve. Leave us a review as well. And help us move on up the charts because it kind of sucks right now. I mean, it's a vanity thing. I just want to be higher up on the charts, okay? I want to sort of look relevant around here. The puppet master, the perfection himself, Mark, is at the helm driving us in the nether regions of all things insanity alongside Let's Love Brandon and conspicuously absent still Chris Cruz. I heard tell that Chris went to meet his exchange students' parents. Did you hear that? Brandon, anything?
No, I just am still convinced he's going to come back converted to Islam.
Converted to Islam. He's going to come back wearing one of those little hats. And
do they have yarmulkes in Puerto Rican?
Yeah, one of those kind of things.
Okay.
But somebody commented on the live chat watching the show last night that that's what he was doing. So folks watching the show obviously pay attention to Chris's life way more than we do.
Apparently
way
maybe
more
he's
than.
the real star, and we just didn't know.
Oh, he
this whole
100%
time.
is. 100% is. In the hot seat, Barb Allen, my very good friend Barb Allen. She is the host of Flex Your Freedom. That's a podcast you need to be tuned into. I have been a guest on her show, and that's the one you need to start with because that was so good. So
it was a good one.
That was good. No, I love your show. I think it's good. I like your plain talk. I like your real talk and your just straightforwardness, and you just got that New York attitude. You know, it's good stuff. She is the author of 2 very significant books that you need to pick up and you need to read. The first one, and let's talk a little bit about your story, Front Toward Enemy. Obviously, that is what they print on Claymore Mines, which has and your husband, Lou, was killed in Iraq, which, again, that could be anybody's story, right? Anybody could say that, but this was a very unique situation. What happened? Tell me that story.
Lou and his commanding officer, Captain Philip Esposito, were murdered by the staff sergeant of the unit. This happened 10 days after Lou deployed. Phil had been there for a bunch of months already, and Lou came over specifically to help Phil manage the supply sergeant, who was no good, should have never been in the military in the first place, let alone in charge of supply. And he was being chaptered out because he was stealing from supply. He was just a disgrace, a disaster. It was time for him to go. And his name was Alberto Martinez. And Martinez knew that Lou was coming over to help Phil put that into play. And so he set a claymore mine outside the office of Phil's window and then threw some grenades to simulate an enemy attack, which worked. CID thought for the first 24-something hours that it was an enemy attack because that's where you go to. You're in Iraq, in a hostile zone, FOB danger, it was ironically called. And so their mind doesn't go to, oh, hey, maybe this was a homicide. Your mind goes to, we're in Iraq. We were attacked by the enemy, right? Yeah. So it wasn't until the next day when they were doing the standard investigation that they started to realize things didn't really add up to an attack. And they came back and informed us that there was an open homicide investigation.
To hear that, and when I first heard that story, I was like, that is mind-blowing. You're in Iraq, you're there, you think you have a common enemy, but to get murdered by another American soldier. Right. And let's back up, because your husband, he kind of took a weird route to even get to Iraq. And because he didn't just join the Army, right? You guys were living in New York, and he just decides one day to do what?
He joined the National Guard. Lou had been, when he was about 18, he entered the Army, and then he realized he just wasn't mature. It just was too much for him. So he asked for and received an honorable discharge. But he didn't even tell me that until maybe we were engaged, I think. He was ashamed of it. It nagged at him. It nagged at him, right? Because he had, and people, Chad, and I think in a lot of ways you're this person yourself. You're called to do something, right? So you're going to do it. And Lou was called to serve. He just, it wasn't the right time for him the first time he went in. So it nagged at him and nagged at him and nagged at him until finally in about 1999, he's like, I'm joining the National Guard. We had talked about him joining the military full time, and I'm like a barefoot backyard hillbilly kind of girl. I'm like, I don't really fit on a military base, right? So I was like, I'd rather not live on a military base. It's just not who I am, right? So he said, okay, I'm joining the National Guard, and that was his decision to do that. And after 9/11, everything changed, and National Guard began being deployed overseas.
Because I remember you saying that you were telling, he's like, it'd take a wild random act of God for me to get called up and deployed, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, I don't know if you want to call it an act of God, but a very crazy, monumental, historic event happened in 9/11, and next thing you know, that's what's happening. He's being deployed.
Yeah.
But he'd only been there, you said, 10 days?
He was in Iraq for 10 days. Yeah.
Wow.
He deployed on Memorial Day 2005. So, I went up to see him at Fort Drum, and we had one last chance to hang out together, and I didn't want to go. I didn't want to say goodbye again. It was hard on me to go to say goodbye. I thought we had a goodbye at home, and I didn't want to go through that again, but I'm really glad I did, because we had a really special 24 hours together, and it mattered. And so 10 days later, my doorbell rang.
That is horrible. And then you had to go through the investigation of a homicide. You had to go. How long was the when they found out what was going on? How long was the court?
The whole process
and all of that,
beginning to end, was 3.5 years.
3.5 years.
I found out at the funeral that an American soldier had been arrested. The notice came in at the funeral. My CAO, you're assigned a casualty assistance officer.
Okay.
It's like the guy that walks you through all the military process, or the woman, that walks you through all the military process. And so right after I got back in the car at the cemetery, he said to me that an American soldier had been arrested for killing Lou and Phil.
And that was when you found out that this had...
They told us it was a homicide investigation,
it was a homicide,
right?
But
But I found out at the cemetery that he had been arrested.
Wow.
Yeah.
What happened to that? I mean, what happened to the guy that they arrested?
We compare this to the O.J. Simpson case of the military, right? Because that's the most concise way you can say it and explain to people what happened because it is so complicated. And that's why I wrote that book, because there was so much that happened in this case that just sounds like it would never happen. Like I had to be making this up, right? But I'm not. And so, it's just one thing after another went wrong, shouldn't have gone wrong, between botched investigation techniques, between a prosecutor sleeping with the lead agent for CID and defense using that. All this behind the scenes stuff that happened. And so I didn't put all of that in the book because I wanted to focus on the case and the evidence and the merits and Martinez and all that, right? So there was just so much that happened. And
you got a master's degree in criminal justice, right?
Yeah, I started that during the trial process because I needed to understand. I needed to. Yeah. There's so much you don't know, and I was being told that I had to be wrong, or I just didn't understand. And I'm like, well, then I'm going to learn, Yeah. So I got my master's in criminal justice, and then I attended another court-martial after this one, and went to that for a couple of months and talked with the government experts and watched that trial unfold, and was able to compare and contrast the way a proper court-martial is done compared to how ours was done, and see that there's no, just like today, right? We're seeing all this stuff happen, and we're told that up is down is up, and right is wrong, and so it was the same thing, but I was alone, and I was up against the military kind of thing, and everybody telling me I was alone or I was wrong. So I needed to do that for my own sanity and back myself up a little bit. So
first of all, and you say you compare it to the O.J. Simpson trial of the military. Yeah. So what you're saying is O.J. did it. Come on. And then. But you're also saying he got off. Yeah. Right? So the guy that murdered your husband
pled guilty
and got off.
Yes.
So let's back up. Why did he do it? What was his motivation?
Because he didn't want to get fired. That's why he did it. He didn't want to get fired. And with Lou and Phil dead, those were the only two that really had the means and the information, mostly Phil, right? But he knew that Lou was coming in to back him up. Yeah. So he waited for Lou to get there so he could take them both out.
Listen, Mark and Brandon, I'm not firing anybody, okay? I just want y'all to know that, all right? But everybody's job is safe here. I don't care if you're selling secrets or anything else. It's mind-blowing. You want to talk, that's a crazy person. You're dealing with a crazy person.
I don't think he's not mentally ill. He's just evil. Yeah. He's just evil. There's a difference, right? You can't blame everything on mental illness. He is not mentally ill. He wasn't.
He's just a horrible human
He's
being.
just evil. He had a history before the National Guard. He had a track record. He just was not an honorable person. He was just evil.
Yeah. And he's dead now.
He's dead now.
But not because, of army capital punishment.
No, there's
not because
people,
of justice in that regard.
No, people sitting on death row for decades in the military or in prison because their death sentences were commuted.
Yeah, because the military doesn't execute people.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore. They don't.
They don't. They did. They went on a tear in the 40s and 50s, And
they were good at it. They honed that practice.
Yeah, they did, but not anymore.
Basically, if you get sentenced capital punishment in the military, that just means you're going to be living in prison for the rest of your life.
Right.
Wow. And you had 4 children.
Yes.
You still have them, but they were small at the time. 4 boys.
They were 6'5", 3, and 1.
Golly.
Yeah. It sucked.
Barb. But you and I have been friends for a minute. Every time you tell that story and I hear it, it's just like, it's heartbreaking. Yeah. I mean, it's just a tragedy of justice. And I mean, everything's laid out right in front of you. And there's a ton to this story. And if those of you out there who are listening to the show or watching the show, y'all need to get this book. You need to get this book. And then you wrote a follow-up book, which I love, What Not to Wear to a Murder Trial, right? Fantastic title. That's Barb sitting there. That's an incredible cover. You can't really tell on the screen there, but you need to get this one as well, What Not to Wear to a Murder Trial. Why this book?
I wrote that. So there was an in-between book, too, that I wrote, How to Woo a Widow. It was just, I needed to lighten things up and kind of chick-lit it for a little bit. I love that book. So I really love that book as well. But this book is sort of my full circle. That first book I wrote while everything was unfolding and while I was living in my pain and my anger. And I wrote it, to tell the story of what happened and set the record straight. And I thought that it could be used to teach, right? How many people in the military still come up to me and say, wow, I never thought that would happen, or why would that happen? Or they don't understand how to work with victims' families because it's just not what the military is for, right? The military is designed to work with victims' families or to think that soldiers are going to kill soldiers and all that. So I thought that there were so many warning signs in our case. Martinez literally threatened to kill Phil hundreds of times.
And Phil didn't know.
And nobody told Phil.
They didn't know that, yeah.
Nobody told Phil, right? So, and I did research. I wrote a thesis on murder in the military, and I compared and contrasted about a dozen cases of soldiers killing civilians or other soldiers. And I found all these warning signs in all these cases that appeared in all of these cases.
Right.
But if you're not trained to look for it, I think at the end of the day, our military believes that no matter what a piece of shit that person is, you don't like them, you hate them, you can't stand them, you still believe that uniform is the barrier.
Sure.
That it's not going to go past that uniform. You can hate them. They could be an asshole. You can maybe want to watch your shit around them or think that they're going to go do some, I'm cursing, sorry.
You can curse.
Okay. But
nobody's stopping you, Barb.
They don't think that they're going to do that, right? So I want to, if people in the unit had known to look for those warning signs. If any of those people that heard Martinez threaten Phil had told Phil, if one person had told Phil, hey, Martinez is threatening to kill you, there's no way that Martinez would have been walking around and had access to do that, right? So I thought that would help people learn. And then I thought if I could take people into my pain and care, because no one cared. Lou, I say this in quotes, he was just a teacher, just a father. He wasn't a famous sniper. He wasn't a football player. Nobody really cared about him. And I'm like, if people cared, then they would have done something, so I wanted people to care. And so that's a really heavy book to read. I have a lot of people who say, the first chapter, I had to put it down over and over because I did a good job. I made people feel the pain, right? This book, I wanted to take people out of the pain. And for a long time, I thought the pain was my story, was my life, and a lot of people get trapped in that victim mindset, that they get stuck in their pain and then they waste their lives and they waste moments and memories and talent and skill.
Front toward enemy. Start there, and then What Not to Wear to a Murder Trial. You need to get these books. And you've turned it. You've got a show now. We got to go to a break, but there's more to this story. I want to pick up on that, and then you and I are going to have fun together.
All right, let's do it.
We're going to have fun. I want to tell you how you can lose 5, 10, even up to 20 pounds and do it safely, naturally, and without any of those jittery side effects. New Sue Labs weight control formula is a super antioxidant formula it's helped thousands of people lose weight for good. In fact, there was a testimony from Kat in North Carolina who was talking about her results, said she lost over 30 pounds with Nusu and kept it off. It helped her to curb her appetite, improved her workout routine. Fantastic product. Highly recommend. You can get the look you've wanted for the summer, for the winter, whatever. Make sure you look good under the sweaters when it gets cold. It gets cold in New York, by the way. I don't know if you know this or not. You could do it with Nusu's breakthrough weight control formula. Order it right now. Try this brand new formula, absolutely risk-free. Look in the mirror, feel confident about how you look without the jitters, without the side effects. And if it doesn't work, you don't pay. Go to nusulabs.com/Chad. That's nusulabs.com/Chad. nusulabs.com/Chad. Enter promo code CHAD20. You get extra 20% off. And during this summer sales event, get a free month supply when you order. Limited supplies, so order now. Go to nusulabs.com/Chad. nusulabs.com/Chad. And we'll be right back. Oh, Barbara Allen.
Oh, Chad Prather.
Oh, Barbara Allen. Hey, by the way, before we go any further, pull that microphone a little bit closer to you. Do you want a pillow behind your back?
Nope, thanks.
You're okay? All
I
right.
will
You
fall
fine?
asleep. Nothing.
I like to make sure.
Not that it's boring.
No, I like to make sure the guests are comfortable and stuff, and you're sitting up so astutely.
Stupid.
I should have asked you during the break, but I like to do stuff where everybody can watch and listen. That's exactly right. Tear down the fourth wall is what I like to say. But life goes on, right? And that was, 2005, so
yes.
17 years. And you're engaged to be married. You've had people say negative things about you.
Just a few.
That's the way life goes with anybody that's some way in the public eye. Yeah. But, the boys are doing good.
They're all heading out in their own paths, doing their things their way. They've worked through. I wasn't always the leader they needed me to be because I was just so broken. So they had to kind of suffer along with my mistakes, right? So that impacted them, but they still love their mama, so that's good.
You got to love your mama. Yeah. That's what boys are supposed to do. And you told me that they didn't award a Purple Heart
correct
to your husband because it was not enemy.
His death is classified as non-hostile, which really just
seems pretty hostile to me.
I almost named the book that, in some version of that, like a hostile death.
Did Pat Tillman? You talk about football
Pat
players.
Tillman got the Purple Heart.
See, but that was friendly fire.
Okay, yes, but that's what people say. They say, like, Lou was not friendly fire, right? So.
You're right. It wasn't friendly at all.
Right. It wasn't friendly at all. So you're awarded the Purple Heart if you're accidentally killed by an American soldier, but not if you're intentionally killed by an American soldier.
You boys getting all this? Y'all keeping up with all this?
Yeah.
Bureaucracy is such bullshit.
Yeah.
It is such bullshit.
It is bullshit. Well, plus then they went ahead and acquitted the guy. So technically, they can't really say that he was killed by an American soldier because they acquitted the guy. So there's nobody on paper saying, so how do they know it wasn't the enemy that they like, that they prefer, that they approve of?
Yeah.
As opposed to the enemy they disapprove. So they're having it both ways, and they're doing it because they can, right? They just, I have fought so hard for the Purple Heart over the years, and we've had a lot of help from congressmen, from senators, from Medal of Honor recipient, people just doing their best to help us.
That pisses me off.
Try to make it happen.
Yeah.
But it's not just for the medal, right?
Yeah.
A, it's his legacy, and that's important to me. And B, I think if the military would just go on record and say that a member of the military who willfully inflicts harm or death upon another service member in a combat in a hostile zone has aided and abetted the enemy, they're saying that Trump is guilty of treason, right?
Yeah.
For some fake ass freaking documents but a guy, a military member killing another member of the military, he's not guilty of treason, right? So none of it makes any sense.
No.
It doesn't make
We need to start
make it make sense, Chad. Make it make sense.
Lieutenant Lou Allen needs a Purple Heart. He deserves it, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
I hate bureaucracy.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I hate it. You get these bureaucrats involved in this stuff, and the military is chief among them. It just absolutely pisses me off. Just do the right thing. Do the right thing for the one that gave his life in service to his country. He didn't ask for the circumstances to be what they are.
Yeah.
For his family, his sons. I mean, my God. Oh well. I've got more questions we'll ask later on, but How you doing, Barb?
Let's have some fun,
welcome,
Chad.
Welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
Good Lord, Brandon. I bring my friends around here and they get me all sad, and it's good stuff, though. I don't know about you, Barb. You and I are the same age, basically. I don't want to call you out on that. You're like 2 months older than me, but you look way better than me. And this is, I looked it up. I calculated it a little while ago. This is 18,175 days of my life that I have not given a single shit about what Joe Biden has to say. All right? Like, I don't care what Joe Biden's saying, because, again, Joe ain't the one saying it. It's the puppet, whoever's got their arm up his ass. That's who's saying it right now. Talking about bureaucracy. Yeah. Joe doesn't even know what he's saying.
Right.
I mean, this guy gets on his mental tirades and he just starts barking at whoever he's talking to. It's insane. You live in the cesspool, which is New York.
State, yes.
Yeah, you live in New York.
New York, California.
Yeah, you're not New York City. And again, with all due respect to some very fine people that are in both California and New York, damn, how do you do it?
I don't know. It does suck. The past few years, they were actually very depressing years to be in New York. It was the time I felt it the most. I hate winter, so winter's always hard for me to deal with. But other than that, New York is a beautiful state.
Gorgeous.
It's a gorgeous state. There's a lot of really great people there. We have friends. We have family there. There's potential there. It's just being ruined. It's being pillaged and plundered by the politicians, and elected or unelected, right? And I'm on a countdown clock now. My fiance's youngest, will graduate high school in a couple of years, in 3 years. And if New York has not begun to swing the pendulum back, we need Lee Zeldin. I can't even speak this morning. We need Lee Zeldin in office.
Do you
this
think
year.
Kathy Hochul gets reelected?
I think she will.
You think she will?
I mean, I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. I'm like, because I'm all for Lee Zeldin. I think we can elect Lee Zeldin. I think it's possible.
Yeah.
If everybody gets off their asses and goes to the polls, and if the election is fair and honest.
Yeah.
So those are two big things that have to happen. It's possible, but it needs the right things to happen. And so if that doesn't happen,
we talk about bureaucracy and big government and all that, and it's amazing to me how many people just are brainwashed and on the government tit. Like you say, hey man, the government does not have your best interest at heart. They want to shut you down, lock you down, keep you away from church, from funeral service, from weddings. I mean, they want to cost you your job and put some unknown juice in your body that's going to affect your heart in some weird way. And people are like, yeah, they're going to fight for that. They're going to keep that up, keep going.
Yeah.
You got a governor in New York who says, well, Republicans just need a bus ticket and go to Florida.
I don't generally jump in and wait around and I try to keep a lid on my emotions. You know, I don't like to give people power to piss me off. Like if I get pissed off, that's my choice. All right. I'm like, she said that and I was like, you know what? I'm going in. I choose to be pissed at you for this one, Kathy Hochul, because that is the last straw. Like who do you think you are? I'm like, I am not a New Yorker. I was born and raised here. I pay taxes here. My husband died in the New York Army National Guard. I raised 4 kids without him for the New York. And you have the balls to sit there and tell me I am not a New Yorker because I'm calling you out on your book.
Yeah.
I can't.
You got
me going. You got me going, Chad. So I was like, enough.
Yeah.
Like she just needs to go. And she said a lot and done a lot of really horrible stuff, but that just showed who she really is. Like,
yeah, and this is a
she
woman
wasn't even
who was
elected.
not elected.
She wasn't even elected.
She wasn't elected, and you're going to do that. God forbid she
absolute power corrupts. Absolutely right. And she is she's a poster
bitch.
Girl for that.
Yeah,
she has her pad on sticky side up. I would say almost every day of the year. That's what I would think.
She's got the sticky side of her pad.
You flip it around, Kathy.
On her
flip
unshaved
it over.
Twat.
Yeah, flip it over, and things will change for you.
What a bitch! Oh my God.
That's what I think of Kathy Hochul.
I know. Somebody asked me the other day. They said they're talking about her. Talking about Gavin Newsom. They said, well, what do you think about what Joe Biden said? I said, let me stop you right there. I do not give a shit what Joe Biden said.
Yeah.
I don't care what Kathy Hochul has to say. I don't care what Gavin Newsom has to say. My God.
I care that they're in power.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I care about. They can say whatever they want once they're out of office.
Exactly.
And it doesn't impact me anymore.
100%.
Because they're poking the bear a little too hard, and a lot of bears in New York are ready to rumble, you know, because it's like, it's enough.
And for those, I always remind everybody, because, you know, we used to do on our tour route, we would do Buffalo, Syracuse, Rochester. Did I get that in order? from west to east, Buffalo, Syracuse, Rochester, or Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse,
there,
and then Albany, right? And then we would do that route.
We need to go back and do it again.
I know.
I'm
Well,
like an hour from Albany.
Again, COVID screwed up everything.
Yes.
So I have people who say, why don't you come do shows in California anymore? It ain't on me. I mean, I used to do 16 shows a year in California. At least 16 cities.
Well, I'll organize a campaign to get you back to do a show.
They just have to redo it.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, the guy that had me in look at this head. The guy that had me in Rochester, he was like, man, everybody was blowing me up saying, I can't believe that you're having a racist in here to come do.
You are a racist, Chad. I've been hanging
horrible.
out with you for a while now. I cannot believe what racist you are. You
It's
might
horrible.
be the most racist person I've ever met.
When we were at dinner last night and our black waitress came up and brought our food, I was like, I will not eat that. I will not eat that food. We will not leave her a tip.
No.
People are so stupid. I love giving the enemy sound bites, right?
I know.
I love that right there.
Yeah, I think they got a good few of them here.
So you are racist, Chad. I've known you a long time.
Military widow calls Chad Prather a racist.
Yeah, I can see that headline. Let's write that book. Front towards black people. What were we talking about?
I don't know. You're ridiculous. You're a ridiculous person.
100%. And racist.
And you're a ridiculous racist.
Ridiculously racist.
Yeah.
No, but I'm looking at all these people and I'm like, they're trying to destroy the country.
Yeah.
They really are. You know, and you go, I can't go to, there's certain states that I want to go back to do shows. I don't want to go to Washington. I'm going to Washington in October to do a show because I do one every year north of Seattle and Everett.
Yeah, but you know what? The people there need you to come. Like, we need to laugh, Chad.
They
Like, we need, like, you're actually, and this is not to get all dramatic about it and all that, but when you're stressed and you're struggling, humor is the greatest tool. And so you're coming in and you're giving people a chance to just sit together and just laugh. And people,
and it's been
a long time since people just got together and laughed. So you're actually more than ever, more than before all this bullshit started. What you're doing is actually important. You know, it matters because people need that.
And I see that. I get it. Like, I was reading a headline this morning. I've kind of been on a 2-day news fast, but I was reading a headline this morning about Asheville, North Carolina, and how it's just become a seedbed for violence and progressivism in terms of Antifa and all this kind of stuff that's there. And they've already had like 11 homicides in Asheville. Gorgeous.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Asheville, North Carolina, which has just become...
You wouldn't think of that when you picture
why?
Asheville.
You know, and I've used to do shows in Asheville, and it's like, I don't want to go back.
Right.
You know, I don't want to go back because, like, if you guys are just going to sit there and let your town go to shit, like, and you let these people invade it, I'm just like,
yeah, but they could be. People can just be so defeated. You feel defeated, right?
Tell me about it.
And so, when you're feeling defeated, Chad, you could be the thing that comes in and disrupts that mindset.
I could bring the Great Awakening.
You could bring the Great Awakening.
I could tell a story about my vasectomy, make people laugh, and it would bring the Great Awakening. It would open eyes.
Because people they give up. They forget what it's like to laugh and feel hope, you know? And so you can come in and remind them, and you can get a couple digs in and have some fun on the way. Yeah. I mean, it's really selfish of you not to go, Chad.
I hear you. I hear you loud and clear,
really,
Barb.
like, get off your, sit here all comfortable in Texas and just let everybody else just cut us
sitting
loose.
Here talking. I haven't even looked at the clock. How far are we gone? My bad. See what you do to me, Barb? I didn't even look at the
Got
clock.
me all fired up this morning.
I'm excited about Bonner Private Wines. I'm excited because they're still a sponsor of the show.
Plus, Malbec is delicious.
It's good wine. You want to open one up in a little while?
Yeah.
You want a little sip of it? All right, we'll do that.
Sip.
We'll find a bottle opener. These are the best Malbecs in the world, and this extreme altitude wine. Bonner Private Wines. They're 9,000 feet up in the air is where this vineyard is. It's like the third highest in the world, 9,000 feet in the air. And what it does, it makes the grape a whole lot stronger, more robust, and just creates an incredible Malbec grape, and makes your meat healthier. It helps your digestion. It brings out the flavors, and you're going to get the blackberry. You're going to get the smoke. You're going to get a little dark cherry, leather even. It's fantastic. And let me tell you something. On election night when Joe Biden got in, we drink a lot of this stuff. They're almost impossible to get on your own. So, again, with our show, we bring you a great deal. Go Go to BonnerPrivateWines.com, BonnerPrivateWines.com/Chad. You're going to get the wine for 50% off. Plus, they'll give you free shipping and a bonus bottle of small batch limited production wine from the exclusive wine cellar there at Bonner. So 4 bottles for the price of 3. It's a deal that is hard to turn down if you are a wine lover like me and Barb. So visit BonnerPrivateWines.com/Chad. Claim your bonus bottle and become a part of America's most unique wine club, BonnerPrivateWines.com/Chad. Get your wine today. We'll be right back. Hey, folks, welcome back. It's that time of the show where I got to attempt to wax eloquent. Folks, I'm forced to consider the distinct possibility that the eggheads in charge of information gathering throughout the boundless halls of academia have run out of things to study. This observation comes courtesy of the latest high-profile scientific investigation conducted by the University of Pennsylvania, which found that, and just wait for it, you're going to love it. Here it is. There is a strong link between parenthood and social conservatism. Dun, dun, dun. Now, I could just end it right there. Those of you who like numbers could look through the study and get your rocks off, I suppose. But for the rest of us, the collective response reverberating back towards the source is, no shit, Sherlock. But you know me, I got to chew on this for a minute, and you got to sit there and listen. So let's dispense with the obvious. Of course, parents are more likely to be socially conservative. When you're a parent, you got a bigger dog in the fight than you otherwise would. It's that simple. Or is it? Now, does a bent towards social conservatism arise merely out of having progeny who are going to go out into the world about whom you care and for whom you wish to, a world that will exist that will at least amount of, rein in the most insanity possible? Is it just that you don't want your kids to be exposed to things like drag queen story hour because you don't want said kid to experience any more than the usual levels of sexual confusion as he or she grows up? Or that you don't want your kids slingshotting into the world of adulthood having taken on and embraced the absolutely asinine concept that he or she is racist from birth due to the hue of skin in which he or she is wrapped? I would argue no. I think it's more complex than that, and I don't think we necessarily spend the requisite amount of time critically thinking about it because it does seem so intuitive to us. Social conservatism is a natural outgrowth of a fundamental and, yes, ideological framework upon which the world that we build for ourselves as a society rests. So from a socially and even economically conservative perspective, the individual works together with other individuals to both build and maintain that framework. Like things like family, community, faith, participation in the marketplace of ideas, and the literal marketplace itself. These are the cornerstones of that framework. And as I said, the individuals work together to build and maintain it. So what does the left do in response to that? The exact opposite. That's what they do. Theirs is the job of subverting the dominant paradigm. Have you ever heard me say that before? They subvert the dominant paradigm, and they do so collectively. Do you see the mirror negative image here? So we come together as individuals. They exist together as a collective. We resolve to build and maintain the paradigm, making changes down through time as they become obvious and or absolutely necessary. But we're careful about it. They come in like Miley Cyrus riding a wrecking ball naked and tearing shit up. Because obviously tearing shit up is the nature of their beast. The opposite of social conservatism isn't really social liberalism. It's social entropy. Things break down. It is the second law of thermodynamics. Things in motion tend to break apart. They break down, and the center does not hold. This happens naturally over time, and you have to decide whether you're going to help repair the ship or help sink it. And those who are actively helping sink it right now are, I think, mostly doing so out of ignorance. There's no critical thinking. They've been raised to not think like that, and just to not think with any complexity that's 3 or 4 moves ahead of their current one. And as a result, they're backing the most dangerous ideological maelstrom that we've ever seen. And hey, social conservatism has its downsides as well, but they're a drop in the bucket by comparison. So keep on keeping on, University of Pennsylvania. Maybe next month you'll study whether most college students like to drink and get laid. That'll be a party, and the results will be about as surprising, I'd imagine. And stop letting men swim with your women. How about that, University of Pennsylvania? Yeah, this place is a bastion of good ideas, right? Isn't that where the dude swims? Leah Thomas kicks all the women's ass. I mean, I'm telling you, you're ranked 438th in men's swimming. You listen to one Shania Twain song and feel like a woman. Ba, 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 da. That's my buddy Jesse Payton's joke. I got to give him credit. He does that on stage, and that's funny shit. Mike Lindell. Mike Lindell's a danger to America, guys. The MyPillow guy is a danger to America, which, by the way, if you go to mypillow.com, use promo code Prather and get 20% off. I told Barb in makeup, I said, you may be the only conservative I know that doesn't have a MyPillow code.
Well, I got to change that.
You need to call him. And I'll connect
call
you.
him. I'm
going to connect you with my people.
I'm just going to call him right now.
I'll connect you with
Mike Lindell.
Well, you'll need to call his other cell phone.
I'm going to connect you. Well, he doesn't have his cell phone because the FBI confiscated it while he was sitting in a drive-thru at a freaking Hardee's.
We could have a great talk with whatever agent answers it. That could be fun.
Yeah. Hello, is this Peter Strzok? It's Lisa Page. Sorry. Yeah. Y'all are sexting. He was sitting at a drive-thru, and I will connect you with MyPillow, by the way. Okay. You need your own promo code.
I have a MyPillow.
I don't sleep on their pillows, but I'll tell you what I do use, because I have their pillows, but I don't. They're not my favorite.
Okay.
In that regard, I love their dog beds. I love their slippers.
You sleep on the dog bed?
No, but my dogs love them. And I'll tell you what I love more than anything is their towels.
Really?
Their towels are fantastic. You know how when you get new towels, they kind of got that shiny stuff on there that makes them kind of slick?
Okay.
New towels, you got to wash them a few times before they start feeling towely.
Okay.
Mike doesn't put that on his towels. He doesn't put that stuff on the towels. He skips that step. And
maybe they're just used towels, so somebody else has already made them feel towely.
Mike's been wiping his ass with them. I don't know what he's doing, but either way, great towels. And I texted her the other day, Krista over there, and I said, I need beach towels because their beach towels are incredible. And she goes, how many you need? And I said, just send me half a dozen. I don't care what they look like or anything. And she did. I mean, within 2 days, bam, they were there. It's a great company. But Mike Lindell, apparently what the contents of Mike Lindell's cell phone are more important than Hunter Biden's laptop or 10% to the big guy or who's on Ghislaine Maxwell's guest list on Epstein Island. So anyway, we'll see what's on old Mike Lindell's cell phone in this witch hunt. Absolutely stupid.
And this is the stuff that actually just makes me angry.
Yeah.
Where are these people going to stop? Where are they going to stop? They're not going to stop. And I think we were talking about this before. I think we're just starting to see the glimpses of what's to come.
Yeah, hold that thought, because I want to bring that back up. Let's go to a break in a second, and I want to bring that back up, just seeing the glimpses of things to come. I want to talk about that, because what we were saying before the show started is pretty You got to remember Mike Lindell, Brandon, I don't know if you know this or not, but Mike Lindell, his drug addiction was so bad that his two drug dealers actually sat him down and had an intervention.
What?
That's actually kind of cool, to be honest. But no, I did get his, I got his audiobook just because it's him reading it.
The book's incredible.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's one of the most awesome stories ever. That's a crackhead who made something of himself, like Hunter. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
I mean, a gambling addict. I mean, here's a guy who pulled himself up and out. Right? And I mean, he's a strong personality, don't get me wrong. Most people who haven't had addictions, they are.
Right.
They tend to be addicted somewhere else and something else, And Mike's addicted to pillows and election fraud. God bless you, Mike. We're praying for you, buddy. Yeah. Anyway, all right, let's take a break. We're going to talk about that. We'll be right back. So you talked about this kind of being the tip of the iceberg. We've just kind of seen a previews of what's coming with this Banana Republic nonsense going on with the Mar-a-Lago raid and the Mike Lindell's cell phone and stuff like that. Where are we headed as a country? What are your thoughts?
I feel I don't know. I'm no expert. I don't know what's going on in these inner circles, behind the scenes. I mean, none of us really do.
I trust a woman's intuition.
I feel like it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
I feel like we're getting pushed closer and closer to the edge where enough people are going to stand up and push back, but we're not there yet. There's still too many people who are still sitting comfortably, letting people like us take the arrows for them. I'm still getting messages. Thank God you're out there doing that. I can't lose my job. I can't lose this, or you sound crazy, and they're still standing by all the stuff they're still standing by. We're the crazy ones.
Yeah.
Even though everything that we've said has proven to be not a conspiracy theory, but just true, right? They're not there yet. So I think it needs to get worse for enough people to finally be unable to deny it anymore, and to stand up and push back. So I think we're all going to suffer until all these freaking yahoos wake up and say, all right, I get it now.
Yeah, no, it's bad. Yeah. And the bad thing is they're starting to lump people in who really have nothing to do with any of that stuff,
right.
You want to take several hundred people for January 6th that went in a place maybe they shouldn't have gone or did some things they shouldn't have done, and then lump an entire, 75 million people that voted for Donald Trump into that one group of people. As you and I have said, and I've said on this show, and I've said it in our overtime segments, is don't judge the entire body by the assholes. And again,
it's a very profound statement.
They're trying to, anyway. But you are doing something about it. You've got your show, Flex Your Freedom, which I encourage everybody to subscribe to and listen to that, where podcasts are offered. Where all can they find that? Is it
everywhere podcasts
everywhere.
Are at. Yeah. Plus, we do the videos up on YouTube, and we're just starting to throw them on Rumble, too.
Yeah.
Rumble's a little harder to get traction onto, but...
Yeah, it is. We found that. But help her grow that show, because it's a relevant show, and Barb's a great interviewer, and it's a good show with good guests, and I want you to have all the success in the world, and support her where you can financially and all that kind of stuff. But you're working on a what do you call it? A conference?
Yeah, this will be the second time we did it. We pulled it off in January last year.
Yeah.
The Great American Summit. It was
Great
our
American
first
Summit.
one.
I love that name.
Yeah. That's Dave Brown. He's good at that shit. He knows what he's doing. So the Great American Summit, we'll have the second one this year. That's why I'm here in town now, other than
not me
coming here and hanging out with you.
Son of a...
That was my in. I'm like, Chad, I got to come anyway, so you may as well just let me on your
maybe
show.
I'll have you on the show.
Yeah.
But we're looking for, we're trying to find you a place to do.
The venue and the dates we're looking to lock in this week. But we're looking at March or April of this year to put the next one together. And, I live in New York, and we came to Texas to do it because New York was a prison state, really. Yeah. And so Texas was very welcoming to us.
It's a good central location for the U.S. People can come in from all over, and I'm excited about it. And there's some facilities, there's some venues that I want to recommend, and I think in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that I think would be good, that would be conducive to what you're trying to do. And a Great American Summit, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's
you
cool.
You bigot, you racist.
Yeah.
You probably hate brown people too, but whatever.
We do. It's a.
We do.
I was gonna layer that, but I realized even that was bad enough.
That's so.
But people are gonna take that and be like, but people are stupid, man.
That's an understatement. No, that is an understatement.
People actually believe that. There's a lot of people. We're all the villain in someone's story. There's a lot of people I'm a villain too, just because they believe stupid shit they heard about me, which isn't true, right? But yeah.
I was told today, Brandon, on a social media post that I'm the devil and my ex-wife is an angel. And I was like, you're not wrong. Absolutely not wrong. I
She'd
concur.
probably agree with that one.
Yeah. I'm like, whatever. So
whatever.
You're the devil too, Barb. Where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram as Barb Allen Speaks, and our primary website is greatamericansyndicate.com.
Syndicate. Mm-hmm. greatamericansyndicate.com. Check it out. Like I said, support her where you can. Send her Venmo. I don't care what you do. Just do it. I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna get her connected with Mike Lindell.
Yeah.
If he's not in prison by then, who knows?
You're gonna come to our summit too, right?
Oh yeah, I'm there. Right, that's a given. I'm gonna be at the summit.
Put your ass on the stage.
I'm 100%. I work cheap, girl. I
know.
I do all kind of things for tequila. No, we'll do that, and I'm excited about the thing. But I want to encourage everybody, seriously, go get the book Front Toward Enemy, and read the story of Lieutenant Lou Allen. This is a great story. It's a sad story. It's a tragedy, but wow, the voice that has come out of it in the form of Barb Allen. I'm proud that you stand for what you stand for and say the things you say, and y'all can tell. Have a couple drinks with Barb. I promise you, she doesn't hold back. So going to be good stuff. And then stay tuned. I'll remind you again about the Great American Summit that's going to be coming up probably in the spring of next year in Dallas-Fort Worth. So we'll make sure you got a crowd there for that, and be good stuff. How long are you in town? You a couple days?
Couple
hey,
more days.
Do this. I want you to stick around. I want you to be on tomorrow's show, too. We're going to see if I can throw a rope around Sarah Gonzalez, get her in here on the couch, and we'll just have a free-for-all on our Thursday.
Let's do it.
And get off the rails and just get absolutely just hog wild. I want to encourage people. I've got a new thing going on. Our 76forever.com, we've got we created this incredible for 1776 obviously, but created this incredible 76 logo that it's got the American flag built into it, and it's we've got all these different things coming out soon, but we've got this pin, right? You put it on your hat, you put it on your thing, and you stick it in your ear. I don't care what you're doing, but anyway, I'm creating a whole basically just. We're going to put out a thing that says, this is what I believe in, this is what I stand for, and I want people to get those pins and just wear them. I want to show a thing of solidarity with these pins and just say, let's get back to being a constitutional republic, and let's get back to being the people who embrace the Declaration of Independence, because we are free thinkers, we are independent thinkers. We don't assimilate well as Americans. We are very much individuals, and we want our individual freedom. And so I'm kind of putting together a creed for this. A lot of creeds have been written in the form of this Declaration of Independence and various things, it represents 1776. But check it out. Go over to our store at 76forever.com and check it out. And then I want to remind you guys to go to chadonblaze.com and let's do a little shopping over there. I'm going to tell you a couple of dates where I'm going to be. I'm going to be in, actually, let's go to a break. We'll come back and we'll finish up. Hang tight. Barb, you ever been to Pawhuska, Oklahoma?
That's the negative on that.
Yeah, it's north of Tulsa. I'm going to be there Saturday night. Got a show there. It's almost sold out, so you need to get your tickets. There's a few tickets left. If you're in the Tulsa area, whatever area that is north of there, get a ticket. Come hang out. It's going to be a fun night. It's a comedy show, so not bringing the band. It's just going to be me. We're going to have a good time. And then if you want music, I'm going to be in Fredericksburg, Texas. This show is literally about to sell out. Fredericksburg, Texas on the 23rd of September. And then October 1st, we're in Godley, Texas. We're going to get godly and godly. A lot of tickets left over for that one. That was one we just added. We can put about 1,000 people in that room, and I want everybody to show up and come hang out with me and the Ragamuffins and check us out. You can get more information, watchchad.com. But there's a few places. I mean, you're talking about North Carolina at the end of, the 1st of November, we're going to be in Greensboro. End of October, I'm going to be in Everett, Washington, back up there in that cesspool. Everett's not getting close, but close to the cesspool, which is Seattle. And November 12th, Quincy, Illinois. Port Charlotte, Florida, coming back there in November, and Ottumwa, Iowa, going to be up there in Steve Dace country. So anyway, watchchad.com's got all the information, but I want to remind everybody, if you want to get overtime and you need to get our overtime, you can only get it on Blaze TV, and it is on the network. You go into where it says Chad Prather Show, and the show will be in there. Subscribe, blazetv.com/Chad. Use promo code Chad to save. We're getting off the rails tomorrow. Love you. God bless you, and see you then. Bye.